so much. Oh my goodness, it is great to be here with you. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Senator Simmons. That was one of the best introductions I've ever gotten. I especially love the story about Bill and me being out for the drive. That was a good one. I want to tell you, first of all, how delighted I am to be here. To be here in Mississippi for this dinner with all these Democrats. What a great occasion! I want to thank your chair, an old friend, distinguished leader Wayne Dowdy. I want to thank Mayor Fred Esco, who has welcomed us here to Canton. I want to thank the Attorney General who is with us, Jim Hood. Representative George Flaggs and Senator Gloria Williamson, who are co-chairing my campaign. And it was wonderful hearing the absolutely beautiful voice of Miss Kimberly Morgan. What an extraordinary young woman. I wish you well. You are incredibly impressive, and I enjoyed listening to you sing. I bet that would be a treat to have a chance to listen even longer. I also want to acknowledge and thank an old-time friend of mine, someone who I worked with back in the days of the Children's Defense Fund, Reverend Rims Barber, who, as we all know, is a tireless advocate for justice and equality, and I am thrilled that nothing has flagged with him. He still is filled with the fire that burns to try to make the world a better place. You know, when I heard about this dinner, I thought to myself, well, how can I get there? Because I knew very well that this would be one of the premier events of this electoral season. And I also knew that the Democratic Party is coming back in Mississippi, and I wanted to be here. I wanted to be able to say, I was there before you elected a Democratic member of Congress. I was there before you elected a Democratic senator. You can just feel it in the air. This is going to be a great evening because there's so many of you here who have labored in the vineyards of the Democratic Party through good times and lean ones. But the core value of our party has stood the test of time. And for that, I am very grateful. And it is now up to us to do our part. You know, here we are at the Jefferson-Jackson-Hamer Day dinner. What a great reminder of the role that Mississippi has played, not only in the Democratic Party and breaking down barriers and pushing all of us to be better and more than we would have otherwise been. But it's also important, as I am reminded on a daily basis by my friends from Mississippi, and including, of course, my extraordinary representative here, Bern Strider, and Glenn Rushing, and others who are native of this great state, that Mississippi has a lot of firsts. You know, something that may not be remarked upon enough, but the first human lung transplant, the first heart transplant surgery back in 1963 and 64 at Ole Miss Med Center. Mississippi gave us the blues Born in human struggle and through its popularity, one of the premier ways of bringing people together. You know, we hear a lot in this campaign about bringing people together. Well, all you have to do is play the blues and people will come together because it cuts across every human experience. Now, Mississippi did give us rock and roll. And I'm told that when my husband gets to Tupelo tomorrow that Elvis will be there. Now, I don't know if that's true, but one can always hope. I mentioned just some of the firsts. The great writers who call Mississippi home or came from its soil. People who have founded companies that are transforming the world. The sports star, and I know one just announced his retirement. You'll all be able to welcome him home. That's a nice greeting. I mention all of that because I believe part of what this election has to be about is to elect a president who understands that Mississippi is poised once again to be a leader here in the United States and a leader around the world if you have a partner who's going to work with you to make that happen. Because these are extraordinary times we're living in. I see my friend, and I know he'll do an extraordinary job, as he always does, representing Senator Obama, the Reverend Joseph Lowry, who is here, a great, great man. But when you stop and think about it, there is just a feeling that we are at a moment in history unprecedented. How many of our parents or our grandparents, or even we ourselves, ever thought, dared to hope that a woman, an African American, would be vying for the Democratic nomination for the presidency of the United States? Well, that is exactly what's happening. And it's happening because so many people have gone before us, made the sacrifice and the commitment. This state is filled with the memories and the legacies of those who came before. Now, whether you're supporting me or not, you're supporting the kind of historic change that comes maybe once a generation. This is our time, Democrats. This is our opportunity. And what we have to decide is, how do we seize this moment? How do we make it real? How do we translate the excitement of this campaign into the hard work that will transform lives? I'm convinced that we can do this. You know, America has given me opportunities that my parents certainly never had. My 88-year-old mother lives with us. She was born before women could vote. And every single day, I think she gets up just marveling, as she would say, that she's still here, but also that she has a daughter who is standing here before you as a candidate for the presidency of the United States. But I know very well I would not be here had it not been for people like Fannie Lou Hamer and Medgar Evers. The names we know and the names that are lost to history, whose values and commitment, whose struggle, whose blood paved the way for Senator Obama and myself. Now, I'm so pleased that Mississippi's voice will be heard in this election, because it needs to be heard, and it needs to be heard loudly and clearly. And I'm well aware that Senator Obama has an enormous amount of support here.